Hello students, today we are going to learn about the lesson Anne's Confession, which is in the Raintree English Literature Reader. It belongs to Orient Black Swan publishers, right? Today we are going to learn about the lesson. This is the short story. This is taken from the collection of stories Anne of Green Gables, which was written by Lucy Maud Montgomery. She's a Canadian writer. She was living between 1874 and 1942. She is best known for her series of books featuring Annie Shirley, a red-headed orphan girl. It was first published in 1908. It has been made to several movies and TV series over the years. This text is a funny and touching extract from Anne of Green Gables. Anne is a sensitive girl with wonderful imagination. In the text, you can see how she wins people over and also come to a better understanding of who she is a person. Now, get into the lesson. Before getting into the lesson, we have to learn about something. We have to know about something. If you feel someone stole your property without permission, someone took your property without permission, and if they might have lost that, how do you feel? How do you treat them? How do you force them to do other things? And that person, the person did not make any guilty, did not make any mistake, then how do they feel? How do they react about that? Think about it. That is what the question should be asked in this question, in this paragraph, in this lesson. Now, let's into the lesson. Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert are a brother and sister in their 50s. They live on a farm called Green Gables in a small Canadian village. They want to adopt a young boy who will help them with the farm. But due to a misunderstanding, Anne Shirley, an 11-year-old girl, orphan girl with red hair, and he is sent to the farm instead of the boy. The first line indicates the owner of the farms. The farm belongs to the one brother and sister, Matthew and Marilla. The farm is almost at least should be 50 acres or something like that. So it is a vast area. The vast area is called a farm in English. They want to adopt a boy after take care of after them to take care of the farm and take care of them when they get very old. But due to misunderstanding, a girl was sent to that place. Anne has spent her childhood in orphanage and with strangers. She is a bright and active girl who quickly makes friends at the farm and at school. Will the strict Marilla like her though? So there are the two characters are described here. Marilla is a strict lady and Anne is an active and bright girl. She is very clever girl to make friends with anyone. That is what the two lines indicating here. One Monday evening, Marilla came down from her room with a worried look on her face. And she said to the small person shelling peas by the table, "What is shelling peas by the table?" She broke the covers of the peanut on the table. That is what called shelling the peas. Have you seen my amethyst brooch? I can't find it anywhere. What is amethyst brooch? Girls might know this. Amethyst is a stone which is on the jewelry. We could see on the jewelry there are some color stones. There are some gems are there, and then brooch is like a small box inside a little paper, and then it seems to be like in the stud box which we if we buy some gold stud from the shop, they give a box, right? That is what called brooch. say amethyst brooch. Here, the stone is inside the box. Inside the box, so that is called amethyst brooch. I saw it this afternoon when you are away, said Anne little slowly. And Anne said, yes, I saw that in the evening, in the afternoon. I was passing your door when I saw it on the pin cushion, so I went to look at it. Yes, this line indicates Marilla went away. Went away on the time this little girl noticed that the amethyst brooch was on the cushion. You know, cushion means uh, cushion means we use the some pillow like something. It's a cotton inside, right? It is very smooth to sit on that. That is what called a cushion. Did you touch it? Asked Marilla sternly. Yes, admitted Anne. I pinned it on just to see how it would look. You shouldn't have gone into my room, and you shouldn't have touched a brooch that didn't belong to you. Where did you put it? Now the owner, the Marilla, showing his face. I put it back on the table. Oh, Marilla, I see now that it was wrong and I'll never do it again. That is one good thing about me. I never do the same naughty thing twice. This girl now promising, I'm sorry, I will not do this again. The brooch isn't anywhere on the table. You have taken it out or something, Anne said Marilla. I did put it back, said Anne quickly, and I just don't remember whether I stuck it on the pincushion, but I certainly put it back. So, before the conversation goes on, Marilla was searching for the brooch everywhere, but she couldn't find out, so that she's asking the question, but this girl replied again and again, I put it on the table. I put it on the table. I'll go and have another look, said Marilla. Trying to be fair, Marilla went back to her room and looked carefully, but the brooch was not to be found as she returned to the kitchen. Marilla once again went into the room and checked the room very thoroughly, but she could not find it out where it is, and she returned to the kitchen. And the brooch is gone, and you were the last person to see it. Did you take it out and lose it? Tell me the truth. Now the suspicion get upon the Anne. I never took the brooch out of your room, and that is the truth, said Anne sincerely. But Anne answered to her master very sincerely, I never took the brooch. I believe you are lying, Anne, Marilla said sharply. Now, don't say anything more unless you are prepared to tell the truth. Go to your room and stay there until you are ready to confess. Now, the little girl is forced to make a confess. When Anne had gone, Marilla went about her evening task in a very disturbed state of mind. What is called a disturbed state of mind? Could not concentrate on your work. That is what called very disturbed state of mind. She may have just taken it to play and lost it, and is now afraid to admit it. It is clear that she took it because no one else has been in that room. I wouldn't mind so much if she had only told the truth about it, she thought. Now, Marilla thinking like this. The little girl might have taken this. Girl want to look at this. Little girl wanted to touch that. She might have taken that, and she might have lost that somewhere. So she is now afraid to admit or accept the truth. I just want the truth. That's it. Later in the evening, when Marilla went up to see Anne, and she saw that the child had been crying. The picnic is tomorrow, Marilla cried Anne as soon as she saw her. You won't keep me from going to that, will you? You let me out for the afternoon, then I will stay here as long as you like afterwards. But I must go to the picnic. So this line indicates tomorrow there is a picnic from the school. This girl deliberately wants to go to the picnic, but this master, so she is asking permission to go out and get something for the picnic. She's asking, will you stop me from going to the picnic? And then after she comes, after I returned, as much as long I will be here in the room. You are not going to picnics until you have confessed. And oh, Marilla, gasped Anne. But Marilla is not ready to allow her. But Marilla had gone out and shut the door. Wednesday morning dawned bright and perfect for the picnic. When Marilla took Anne's breakfast up to her and she found her sitting straight upon her bed, she looked quite determined. Wednesday morning dawned and bright fire. What is called dawned and bright fire? It's a perfect day. It's a sunny day. Because of in Canada, Canada is in the northern hemisphere, so it is most of the years will be like a snowy it's like a frozen, like a winter season. So the sunlight is very much precious to them. On the day, Anne took the breakfast to the Marilla and went to her, saw her. She is sat upon his bed. She looked quite determined. Marilla, I am ready to confess, said Anne. Marilla laid down her tray. Now Marilla laid the tray on the nearest table to her and said, I took the brooch, said Anne, as if repeating a lesson she had learned. Why she is repeating? Why this lines is indicating? Marilla is expecting the confession, and then she will only allow her to go to the picnic. So she is ready to confess. I didn't mean to take it when I went in, but it looked so beautiful. I thought I could put it back before you come home. When I was going over the bridge across the lake, I took the brooch off to have another look at. Oh, how sparkled in the sunlight! And then when I was leaning over the bridge, it just slipped through my fingers and went down, all purply, sparkling and sank. That is the best I can do, confessing, Marilla. Now, this is the line indicating as Marilla is ready to confess, right? Marilla is ready to confessing. Why she is ready to confessing? She want to go to the picnic, so that she is ready to confessing. She imagined what was happened. She is tried to explain what was happened, but it's all her image. Why? Clearly the lines indicate. She took it up. It was so beautiful. She went to the lakeside. She was upon the bridge over the lake. She wanted to look at the brooch one more time. She took it off, and it was sparkling in the sunlight very brightly. And just when she was leaning on the bridge, it just slipped and sank into the water. Marilla felt her heart with anger, and this is terrible, she said, trying to speak calmly. You are the wickedest girl I ever heard of. Yes, I suppose I am, agreed Anne. Will you please punish me right away, Marilla, because then I would like to go to the picnic. So the girl is determined to go to the picnic. At any cost, whatever happened, she wants to go to the picnic. She doesn't want to miss the picnic. You will go to no picnic today, and surely that shall be your punishment. Anne jumped up and grabbed Marilla's hand. Oh, Marilla, I must go to the picnic. Why I confessed. Please punish me any other way you like. Think of the ice cream, Marilla. I may never have a chance to taste ice cream again, because this girl was from orphanage. In the orphanage, an ice cream is a precious one. It is not easy to get a ice cream. So this girl wants to taste everything before she go back to the orphanage Marilla let go of Anne's hand, saying, "You needn't plead, Anne. You are not going to the picnic, and that's final," said Marilla. Marilla want to punish her without going to the picnic of Anne. Marilla returned to the kitchen where she kept herself busy. She washed the dishes and fed the hens. Then she remembered that there was a small tear in her best black shawl. She decided to mend it. What is mend it? She decided to stitch it. As Marilla lifted the shawl, she noticed something glitter and sparkle. She snatched it and with a gasp, it was amethyst brooch. "What does this mean?" said Marilla. "Here is my brooch. I thought was at the bottom of the lake. I remember now that when I took off my shawl on Monday afternoon, I laid it on the table for a minute. I suppose the brooch got caught in it somehow. Well," Marilla went to looking for Anne and saw that she had been crying. "Anne Shirley," said Marilla, I have just found my brooch hanging on my black lace shawl. Now I want to know what that story you told me this morning meant." He said, "You would keep me here until I confessed," answered Anne. "And so I confessed because I wanted to go to the picnic. I thought of a confession last night and made it as interesting as I could." Marilla had laughed. "And I was wrong. I shouldn't have thought you lied. Of course, it wasn't right for you to confess that to a thing that you hadn't done. So, if you all forgive me, I'll forgive you. If you will forgive me, I'll forgive you. And now get yourself ready for the picnic." Anne flew up like a rocket. She washed herself while Marilla filled a basket of her. That night, a very happy, tired out Anne returned to Green Gables. "Oh, Marilla, I have had a perfectly scrumptious time." Scrumptious is a new word I learned today. I heard Mary Alice Bell use it. Everything was lovely. We had tea, and then Mr. Harmon Andrews took us for a row on the lake, 6 of us at a time, and Jane Andrews nearly fell overboard. She was leaning out to pick a water lilies, and if Mr. Anderson hadn't caught her just in the nick of time, she would have fallen. And we had ice cream. Words fail me. I cannot describe that ice cream. Marilla admitted to Matthew that evening that I made a mistake, but I have learned a lesson. And although Anne's confession was a lie, it's not as bad as other lie would have been. The child is hard to understand, but no house will ever be dull when she is around. Thank you.